We received our third and final exploration site. We don't know exactly what it's called, but we believe it is dedicated to abandoned temple dedicated to Nethys, the god of magic. We're given a sketched map of the location and begin to head out. Sorry about that, needed a drink of water, but we are heading to the location as the sun beats down on the lonely, silent streets of the necropolis. Dust sands now cover the once bustling streets, and buildings that were once homes, shops are gradually disintegrating to rubble after centuries of neglect. Scattered throughout the ruins is the occasional palm tree or shrub kept alive by broken remnants of long abandoned irrigation system. Okay, let's go ahead and copy paste ourselves onto here. So we should begin at area. Map is slightly off, but we're not going to worry too much about it. We are on this map, going this way, southwest. A big green, I'll just have you on the map again for convenience sake. Big green is your HP pool? It is, right? Oh, gosh darn it. Big green is going to start lagging behind in terms of HP now because, again, he has a con score of, what, 10? Yeah, that's the reason you usually end up seeing animal companions take toughness. Because they don't get a favorite class bonus and only get their class HP bonus, they struggle. The good news is their defenses are usually monstrously large. Take advantage of it. So we're not going to worry too much about that. Okay, we do have a number of bad guys, however, positioned at various places around the map. So let's go ahead and roll initiative. Do we have... They do attempt to surprise us. What is their bonus to stealth? Atrocious, we are going to just save time and assume we all make our perception checks. Or enough of us make our perception checks that we don't have to worry about it. Now then, let's just add everybody to the initiative tracker. And let's go ahead and get some humanoid enemies. Heroes and villains, we don't need anybody to... We don't need stuff to... Oh, I guess we could use these fighters. Use... And they don't have to be perfect, but we just need some form of representation. 2 trappers and 4 thugs. Give it an outline of where exactly they all are. Have you standing here. And another one standing up here. And then you are going to be standing here. There, and there. Okay, now we need to roll a lot of d20s. 5. We'll start with those first 5. Shari is +1. Cyrus is +3. Atis is +7. He was on the ball today. Gamu is +0. And bad guys. We do have statistics for you in the scenario. They are +2, or these guys +2, and the other ones are +1. So 1, 2, 4, 5. Okay, +2, 5, +1, 15, 7, 2, 14, and 10. Okay, first up will be Atis, as we have discovered their ambush. Okay, quick description of this area, though. Dilapidated buildings are 15 foot high, and the squares that look like they're containing rubble, including a lot of these ones, are considered difficult terrain. If you were walking in them that have a lot of difficult terrain. So, Agamu, we don't have a whole lot for you to do, so I guess you're just going to look at that guy up there and shoot a crossbow bolt at him. That's not Agamu. Atis. Similar story, slightly different spell. He's instead going to shoot some acid at him. I'm going to shoot a touch for 3 points of damage. That will easily touch. And you now have 8 hit points. You also have an AC of 13. Okay. You, however, get closer. Because you have a net. Oh, this net has 15 foot of, or 30 foot of rope. Okay. So, I'm going to try and toss a net at Shari. Should be relatively easy. I mean, in theory, Shari's flat-footed AC is very similar to her normal AC. It's just a 1 lower, so it's going to be a 16. To roll a 14 or higher. I miss. Well, there goes my net. Okay, Cyrus. Probably doesn't see necessarily all of these guys hidden around corners. This would be one advantage. He probably sees this guy over here, but because you could use the walls, he probably only sees the 2 on, or the 3 on the buildings, and maybe hears a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and walk a little bit closer over here and try and throw a bomb at this guy on the left. I need to be far enough away that I can throw up on the building. It shouldn't be too hard. Cypress, you have a normal bomb. That'll touch. 10 points of damage. Gives you 1 hit point remaining. Okay, next up is someone down here. You are very far away. Do I have ranged weapons? I do. I have a longbow. Well, that guy looked dangerous. Do I have a clean shot at him? Oh, let's go to the ruler tool. Looks like I do. He might be kind of ducking actually behind this wall, so maybe there is some cover, but no, I'm shooting above his head, so I could pretty easily shoot over that cover. And miss horribly. Lovely. Okay, next up. Oh, I accidentally closed the tracker. Gonna be this guy. Gonna come around the corner. 5, 6. Perfect. That's exactly as much movement speed as I have. And I'm going to swing my Kopesh at... Here's how I think in my mind. There are 2 ways to go about fighting a person in their mount. You could, A, attack the mount, because usually the mount has less HP, assuming it's a horse or something of a description. This is not a horse. This is a dinosaur of some description. Much more dangerous than an average horse. In which case, I'm instead going to attack the rider, because the rider is usually the more important one, the one that's going to do a lot more damage. That's why I got combat reflexes. I have a reach weapon. Oh well. In this case, Big Green, however, has combat reflexes. So, Big Green is going to take an attack. Hit for 14 points of damage, which is enough to absolutely obliterate this man. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gonna get right up next to Cypress and stab him. And miss horribly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't reach, so odds are instead I have my longbow out. And I'm gonna take a shot at Shari. Uh-oh. That's gonna confirm. So I will do 3d8 points of damage on that. Ow. Okay, next up is good old Agamu. Well, Shari is taking a beating. We're going to assume that she'll survive. I see a guy over there that has very low HP, so I'm going to step over, I don't know, here. A nice 5-foot step across the corners. Noticing that there's very little cover between these squares, so we could probably do that 5 foot. And I'm going to shoot with my crossbow at the guy on the roof. That's not the right one. Gamu. Slightly worse. Yeah, he's horrifically bad. Okay. You need to get to the corner of this building. Oh no, you surrender. Okay, perfect. He's not going to attempt to flee, he's just going to sit down and surrender. I do actually have a picture of these thugs. Go ahead and show you all. They look like this, kind of standard affair for this region of the world. Nothing too special. Okay, Atis. Again, doesn't have much to do, so I'm just going to attempt to snipe the person on the roof with my finger guns. A little bit more damage. Okay, I do not appreciate that, and I have a Tanglefoot bag to throw at you. I do need to be a little bit closer because of a range penalty I'll be taking. This means I'll only take a -2. Okay, a success. Tanglefoot bag. Let's learn how those work. Tanglefoot bag. Range touch attack. They automatically become entangled. A DC reflex save or be glued to the floor, unable to move. Okay, that's good enough. Luckily, we got ourselves a fancy new bag, or fancy new cloak to help us make these reflex saves. I succeeded. So I am entangled. However, I am not glued to the floor. So we'll just put the little net icon. And you do have, if we go to our sheet here, set conditions entangled. You will, of course, need to refresh or recalc your page to make sure all those bonuses are included. But that'll automatically be done now. Cypress, or Cyrus, should be Cypress. Changed your name. Save you there, and we need to update your default token. Cypress is going to... Oh, that's because I copied and pasted from the first page. Okay. 5-foot step back, and probably... Do we want to throw a bomb? I'm not feeling all that threatened. In which case, I might... Shari got skipped, I just realized. Huh. Well, she probably would have moved down here and instead been in melee with this man. We'll just pretend it doesn't matter. So, good old Cyrus here is going to 5-foot step to the side and probably try and stab this man. Nope, he's going to 5-foot step back and shoot him with a crossbow. 2 points of damage. These guys have 13 hit points and 12 AC. I'm taking a -2 there. Next up is the guy down at the far end. At this point, he's probably going to go for a tease because she is entangled and thus easier to target. And again, miss. Miss indeed. Okay, Shari. Let's start by having Shari make an attack. She cannot make an attack with her special weapon, so instead we're going to have Big Green make an attack. Alternatively, we go 1, 2, or 1, 2. Go here instead. 1. Then a tease can then make it. Because I don't have to worry about ever provoking again, first off, we can have... This is not a tease, this is Shari. Somewhere in here, there we go. Take the Bardiche attack. Miss horribly. 2, 3, 4. And then Big Green will make an attack. We'll bite out of this man and miss horribly. Okay, you're gonna come forward with your Kopesh. And miss. And then you're probably going to swing your Kopesh. And you're going to hit Shari with it. Shari's going to take some damage, and actually close to going down. Or not. Yeah, Gamu is going to crossbow the man on the roof here. I'm just going to go ahead and roll a d20 for him. And miss horribly. Atis is going to possibly hit a touch attack. These guys have a touch AC of 12, which means... Atis, what is your attack bonus? Bad, because you're entangled. Okay. And how many Tanglefoot bags do I have? I have... nothing else. So I'm going to start climbing down this side of this building. Very slowly. How good is my climb score? Good enough. Let's hope I don't flub this roll. 10, this is a dilapidated building. Should be plenty of handholds. If not, I can also climb down this other side. Probably a little bit safer. So one... probably my entire movement just to get down here, and then I can come around the back with a sword for next turn. Okay, Cypress, you're going to once again backpedal and attempt to shoot your crossbow and miss. Now you, sir, probably see Shari there, and I'm going to attempt to shoot her and hit. 7 points of damage. Now Shari is wobbly. Of the wobbly lady, we're going to start with the good old doggo, making 2 attacks. That's 1. Having you go down 5 foot and get your tail slap. 13 for 8. Okay. You will surrender. Shari's just gonna full defense, or not full defense. She's gonna probably duck and cover, regardless, whatever the action required. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and call the fight. There's one guy at the far end that we do need to be wary of, but not that big a deal. Barring the crit, this is a relatively simple encounter. We had 2 guys left, but we are able to interrogate them. We loot a bunch of longbows, kopeshes, some padded armor, 1 Tanglefoot bag, some nets. Most importantly, some masterwork scimitars. Which probably Shari might end up holding on to. This is masterwork. Especially considering she's the only one proficient in it. The reason I say this is because masterwork gives you +1 to hit. So if you really are needing an attack that will hit, it'll be nice to have. Most importantly, they have an 18 to 20 crit range. They are likely to crit very much. The melee attack. There. Just in case you need it, it's there. So, we can interrogate these guys, wrap them up. So, who is the one that hired you? What are you doing here? We were hired by a woman. Hold on, I have a description of her. No easy way to get to the description of her, is there? Rather fanciful dress for one this part. Big purple, pinkish purple clothing, a wide brim pinkish purple hat matching the outfit, and a bunch of feathers in the cap as well, with a band around it. Seemed to have some sort of symbol at her, around her necklace, sort of mask maybe, white and black. And the party goes, "Oh, I recognize that. That's Wait, hold on. Is that the correct person I was describing?" Yes, okay. I recognize that name, or that description. We encountered her a few days ago. She was one of the other adventuring parties. The oh God, what was the name of their party? Leader of the Scorching Hand, Valerina, or Vel Velrena was her name. Why would she hire these people? That seems odd. Jealousy, possibly? Uh, why were you hired? Don't know. Or we were just hired to accost anybody that was headed towards the some old temple down the road. Again, quite odd, considering we were the ones who were given the right to explore this place. Maybe it was double handed out twice. Maybe something more nefarious is going on. Regardless, we gotta hand these guys over to the guard. I mean, it shouldn't take too long a journey. Those that survive, we'll stabilize those that didn't keel over, tie them up, take their loot, and get them off to the guard. It'll take us a little extra time, but who cares? Now then, we can head off to the next location. Go ahead and archive this page. Notice again, some very, very large room we have here. And somewhere in this place, there we go. Zoom out a little. Oh, no, I can just take a half notch up. About the old snipping tool, so I have the room numbers. Okay. The third assignment we have is Old Temple to Nethys, called something we don't know. The sanctum, however, looking at its outward appearance, is old. Possibly built long before whatever the Plague of Madness stripped the streets of their luster. Regardless of what happened, it is ours to explore now. Read, blah, blah, blah. Location is marked. Okay, that's fine. Uh, Taking a look from the exterior, the temple's central nave is symmetrical. The rest of the structure does not conform to traditional architecture, with rings and extensions on both sides. Except for the uniformity of the stonework, it appears to have been haphazard additions. The large dome over the apse tops of the roof at the north end of the temple. The sanctum has no windows. The exterior walls are carved with the likeness of Nethys and other celestial figures. Unless otherwise noted, all ceilings are 15 foot high and all of the rooms are dark. Okay, that makes things easy. And it looks like we are strolling in right in the front door. Green once again gets shoved in a wall. And Shari is similarly up here. Okay, finally reading through after finishing through the room description. No doors block the grand entrance to this temple. A wide flight of stairs lead directly into the temple's interior. Two humanoid statues flank the stairs wearing black and white masks, holding quarterstaffs. Just inside the entry hall, two rows of columns lead towards an archway into the north. Two smaller passages open east and west. However, there does seem to be stuff inside. Specifically, a pack of jackals. Let me quickly read through ahead of this location. I need to see where something happens. Okay, figured it out. I know something is going to happen later down the line. I want to make sure I don't get the placement wrong. So, taking a look around, we can easily see a bunch of skeletal dogs will have taken refuge in this front entry hall here. Gonna skip the encounter, it's not a particularly interesting one. It's just they have a AC and 5 hit points and bludgeoning DR, so we smack them about a bit. Maybe a channel or two. No big deal. But, taking an actual look around, uh, the building appears to be in remarkably good condition considering its age, especially compared to other structures in the necropolis, or other structures within the whole necropolis part of the city that we're currently in. Sort of preservative magic, perhaps? Regardless, with a simple detect magic, we don't detect anything. So, nothing there. With an easy knowledge check, we can identify the statues flanking the stairs as pictures of Nethys, and both the white and black form. And a simple survival check will identify fresh tracks leading inward that have disturbed the dust. At least 4 creatures passed this way. No other signs of tracks beyond the area except where otherwise noted. So presumably, if I take a quick look at my map, they seem to head northward. So we will continue inward, taking a quick look to our left and right, and then continuing to head north. Space and elevation lead to a sense of past grandeur and majesty in this large space. A large star-shaped fountain with a circular pool in the center sits in the middle of this chamber. The bottom of the pool is decorated with a great mosaic eye, made from tiny colored tiles, and hieroglyphs are carved into the paving stones ringing the fountain. 2 columns support the ceiling overhead, which continues to rise in the domed ceiling in the northern portion of this chamber. At the far end of the hall, a massive statue with its arms raised overlooks the entire length of the temple from atop a raised dais. East and west of the fountain, 2 sets of stone double doors exit the chamber. However, there is something inside. One second. Blah, 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 blah. God, these encounters are just annoying. One thing I will state, there's a number of encounters you will have throughout Pathfinder and another of other pre-existing modules that say the enemies don't fight to the death. When reduced to a certain amount of hit points, they retreat and do this, and they fight, come back and fight, and then they retreat and do this and come back and fight. Yes, it makes a little bit of sense. It's very irritating on both the players and the GM. There's something to be said for appearing, casting a single spell, and then retreating. That's fine. However, doing much more than that, you start to risk annoying the players and annoying yourself as the GM with all the bookkeeping. So, what can you do about that? Well, once again, you could simplify it to have it not be a regular encounter and instead be a simple going around the place and impeding the foes. Again, spellcast here, disappearing, spellcast there, disappearing. Not the end of the world. Or you could have it be a bigger encounter. I fight here. When reduced to a certain amount of hit points, I retreat to a different room. However, after I retreat to that different room, if you defeat me, I'm gone for good. Those make it a little less annoying. Maybe retreating allows you to alert enemies. Regardless, there is an enemy in this room that I need to Google. Go ahead and do it. So we go Pathfinder, out, go in. Okay, so we can first off go ahead and go to images. I don't think we have a good image then. Well, let's go to page 80, which is apparently where this monster is listed. It looks like a wall come to life. Okay. It has no true body, instead derives its form from a nearby structure it inhabits, emerging from the walls, floors, and ceiling. How it manifests from broken structures. Only move to the structures attuned to, blah blah blah. It takes damage when it's away. If it's killed, its manifestation disappeared. It can repair structure as per make whole. It can move through solid walls and floors. Other than being an elemental and being able to kind of move throughout the chambers, it doesn't have much else going for it. Okay. That feature is that feature's down here. Can move through any walls, floors, at similar to Earth Glide. Can move through damage structure, no big deal there. So all that means is it's gonna pop up and be a little pest whenever we are doing things. So we're gonna be encountering it here. And as we begin this encounter, it's not a particularly interesting one, it just does damage. Something else is going to appear, probably giving this man time to disappear. An Agash div. Archives of Nephis. Now this, at this point, after that last encounter is when we should be leveling up. Go to the Agash div. It looks like this. It has a name. Don't worry about the name. And what does it do? Cursed Gaze. Oh, those are some nasty, nasty stuff. As a special attack, Cursed Gaze once got voice. It doesn't say that it gets to do other things. So, before combat, while we're initially fighting, it's going to cast Spectral Hand. Why? Because it has Bestow Curse. Oh, that's just rude. Okay, we're going to run this encounter. We're going to assume that we're going to fight to the death with this creature, no big deal here. And this other guy is kind of looking around and fighting. So, once we finish this fight, we may be scattered throughout the room. Maybe you're over there, fighting over yonder. Cypress is here. And then the div is going to appear back there. We're going to use, once again, the bat to represent the div. This div is medium-sized, as it will appear. We need to be within 30 feet of the party. Start, so we need to be 20 feet closer, so we will be down here. Close enough. As we will appear. Do I have a fly speed? I do not. I have a movement speed. Okay. Let's go ahead and roll initiative. Once again, div our cursed geniekin have turned remarkably evil. 3, 4, 5. Okay, everybody rolled low in this case. 11. We've got 13. We've got 4. 9. And this div is +2. So 7. Most of us will be going first. Okay, Atis, what is that? That's a knowledge planes check. No one knows. However, considering it is a knowledge planes check, it is likely susceptible to color spray in some form or another. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Color spray. You have spell resistance. You have spell resistance, which means I need to make a caster level check. You're also no longer entangled. At this point, I've probably put up my mage armor. Why you have the defense you do. Okay, so color spray. It requires a caster level check. I roll load. I spell fizzles. Agamu. Well, it's an outsider. We're going to assume, based on our previous encounters with outsiders, that cold iron is effective against them. So we're going to use our cold iron crossbow bolts. And we're just going to shoot it. And miss horribly. What are your defenses here, Mr. Monster? You have 18 armor class with 42 hit points. A lot. Okay, Shari, the one who matters. Let's see, does your animal companion have a higher movement speed than Big Green? Where are you? 40-foot movement speed by chance? 30, unfortunate. 1, 2, 5. Okay, we're going to make an attack roll and then continue forward up these stairs. Shari, you are going to use, again, Cold Iron, even though it is not your best weapon, and miss horribly. You, sir, have a job to do. What looks the most intimidating? Do I have tact? Usually you'll give tactics. So, first to fight from distance, cursing every foe possible with it can with its cursed gaze or bestow curse delivered via spectral hand. So let's start with a cursed gaze. That seems like a good start. The one that I'm going for is confusion for 1 round, because that has the greatest propensity for bad things to happen. Normally what you could do is start off with like a shaken and then go into confusion, or you could just double confusion, because again, nothing happened. But it is a supernatural ability. Though it is a gaze attack, it is not a automatic gaze. So this is presumably a standard action. I'm going to start with a standard action gaze. Is it all creatures within 30 feet? It is within 30 feet. That's why I try to get closer. So, these guys are too far away, which means it's only going to affect the 2 people in the front. It means I'm going to 5-foot step. This area is raised, so I'm assuming I can't 5-foot step, so I'm going to up there. I'm going to 5-foot step off to the side here. Look around, and Atis, Shari, and Big Green will need to make... What type of saves are we looking at here? Will saves, probably? Fortitude saves. That's a weird one. That's bad. Big Green also similarly failed. Everyone failed, so they are all confused for 1 round. That's atrocious. Okay. Now then, Cyprus. Things have gone horrifically all of a sudden. 1, 2. So we're going to run up here. Actually, we're going to stay... Nope, we're going to run up here. That's fine. I'm actually going to stand here. So how confusion works... We don't know if they are confused. We're assuming they're confused. They're looking around all kind of idiotically like. Technically, it's a DC 20 sense motive to realize something's wrong, but they went from actively participating in combat looking at the bad guy to going, ooh. Confusion says there was a 1 in 4 chance of acting normally, a 1 in 4 chance of babbling and doing nothing, 1 in 4 chance of smacking yourself with whatever's in your hand, doing a D8 plus 1 points of damage, or D8 plus strength points of damage, and a 1 in 4 chance of attacking your nearest ally to the best of your ability. And by attacking your nearest ally to the best of your ability, this is doing hit point damage, or trying to murder them to the best of your ability. This will include power attacking. This will include using poisons you have access to. This will not mean applying the poison in the next round attacking. This is, in a single round, murder your friend. So no holding back. You got a fireball, you throw a fireball. You got a saber die, you throw a saber die. You got a bunch of hit point damage you can do, use that hit point damage. So I'm sitting next to Atis because I want her to attack me if something goes wrong, because I'm worried about how long this confusion will last. We as the GM know it only lasts 1 round, so we can't have confusion lock, which will come up later. But we're assuming that confusion lock is going to be a thing, and we'll keep that in mind. So, throw a bomb at Big Bad here. You are not one of the things that I will affect, so I'm going to do normal, and it's going to splash. And I've just made a mistake. Oh, I have to live with it. Please roll 6. Flash here, which means the boss needs to make a reflex save. And is he going to save? Your reflex bonus is +6. You will save for nothing. Okay, Atis, you are confused, so you may roll a 1d4. 1 being good, 4 being bad. Okay. The closest person to you right now is Cypress. The most damage you have access to in a single instance is probably your magic missile. Color Spray takes people out of the fight, doesn't actually kill people. Other thing you have is Acid Splash. You're gonna 5-foot step back, and you are going to magic missile. Sad day. Automatically do 1d4 plus 2, or 2d4 plus 2 points of damage. Luckily, it was minimum. Okay, Agamu. I don't suppose you have a protection from anything prepared. Nope, you've got Bless. Which, honestly, at this point, not a terrible idea to cast. Let's go ahead and move forward a little bit and make sure everybody's in the area of effect. 30 feet away. Perfect. And you're going to cast a Bless. Just to give everybody that +1 to hit. Now, Shari needs to roll a d4. Same with Big Green. We're assuming Shari is the writer. Going forward, if you act on the same initiative, you do have to determine who rolls first and who rolls second. In this instance, Shari will always roll first. Big Green will always roll second. So Shari is going to babble incoherently. Big Green is going to attack the nearest ally to the best of their ability. The nearest ally is the person on its back. So I'm going to attempt to murder Shari. This is very, very bad. I'll hit twice and do a bunch of damage. Ow. That seemed remarkably effective. In fact, that was so effective, I think I'm just going to do it again. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay, everybody needs a fortitude save now. I'm just going to save time, and we're just going to roll a bunch of d20s, and we'll see if any of them are high enough to matter. Okay, Shari, Big Green are both going to fail. Atis is going to fail. Cypress is going to save. No, those two fail. Save, save, fail. Okay. And again, I'm going for Confusion, because that was very, very good. So Cypress and Atis are the ones that act normally this turn. Cypress. We're throwing a bomb. Have you actually step one further away, just so this thing can't 5-foot. It turns out that's very dangerous. So, normal bomb. 18 for 9 damage, guaranteed. Perfect. And we want to not be... Honestly, I don't mind if I'm next to Agamu. Agamu has no way of hurting me. Okay. We now know the boss has SR, which means using magic against it is going to be difficult. What does that mean we should do? That means we should probably try it anyway. If we're going to run away from good old Shari there, make sure we're not the closest thing to her. And then we're going to try and cast a spell. We're +3 to this. We need at least a high roll. Okay, we successfully magic missiled the boss. For 7 points of damage. Okay, Gamu has to roll a d4. He will act normally. In which case, he is going to... I don't know, crossbow the boss, I guess. Can't do much, but it's honest work. Okay, Shari, first up, we have the rider. May act normally. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and see what your animal does. Your animal also acts normally. Hey, howdy. You're right up in this monster's face, swinging as we walk. It's not a tease, it's again Shari. We're going to use our cold iron weapon, assuming, of course, that's valuable. Okay, that will miss. Big Green only gets one attack. It doesn't matter which one we go with, so we're going to go with Tail Slap and miss horribly. Okay. Bad guy. That seemed remarkably ineffective this last round. In which case, I'm going to defensively cast a spell. We're going to go for the good old curse. I will successfully defensively cast. Who has been the biggest annoyance thus far? Probably Cypress. Cypress being the biggest annoyance to me, because he's been trying to throw bombs, he's been mildly successful, everyone else has basically done nothing. Alternatively, we go after the spellcaster. So, Bestow Curse is a very, very nasty spell. Bestow Curse, and then there's a greater variety. You can choose one of the following. -6 to any ability score, minimum 1. -4 penalties on a bunch of different rolls. Or a 50% chance to act normally or otherwise takes no action. All of those suck. So, we are going with... Let's go with this one. Penalty on saves, skill checks, and all of that. So we're going to attempt to reach out and touch our boy there, which is going to be a touch attack. Spectral Hand allows us to make touch attacks at reach. However, +8 is probably enough. Really hoping that you had a higher touch AC. Nope. You have Focus Claw by any chance? You do. Okay, so you're only +7, which means you will barely fail to touch. Thank goodness. Now we get a full turn of acting normally. You're going to delay until after Shari, just to see if Shari can finish him. I think you're also going to delay until after Shari. Gamu, same story. Okay, Shari. See what you and Big Green can do. We'll start with Big Green. Wallop, wallop. Need a 5-foot step back so you can get your big smack in. Finally! Okay. Now we're going to have Cypress throw a bomb, because a bomb is way more guaranteed. You will have to get right up in his... or within 20 feet, so you're not taking penalties. That will miss. And he will fail a save, so even wherever it splashes, it doesn't matter. Okay. That was horrific. And that could have gone way worse. But imagine in that circumstance, you got like a... First off, if the curse would be permanent unless removed. If you had failed to save against Bestow Curse, you would have had to leave and come back. There's no way I'm walking around with a -4 to everything I do for the duration of this dungeon. This Dimension Door... if he survived, he would Dimension Door away and attempt to summon some Dorus. He has no way of healing himself, so that's good at least. But... a rather nasty little creature. I don't mind it as a mini-boss or a boss. Of course, Cold Iron being what we know affects outsiders, and we suspected that thing of being an outsider. But having Sandstorm in case things are flying near you, or if things are, if people are attacking with a bunch of ranged attacks, a rather just nasty little beastie. High forts. Why is this a fortitude save? I don't know. But confusion every round per save, really nasty. But we're going to assume we're going to be healed up between combats. And continue. Is there anything valuable here? Let's take a quick read. Blah, 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 blah. Taking a look around. There's a pool. It does seem like the pool in the center of the room is magical, with auras of abjuration on it. That's weird. Abjuration is the school of protection, usually, and banishing of outsiders. So maybe if you had splashed the outsider with some of this water, that could have been a way to get rid of it. It's not. That's just me thinking out loud as a player. Doesn't seem to have any harmful effects. Cypress is curious. Cypress will drink some of the water. Very cool, and he feels slightly better. Everybody's going to drink some water. In reality, all this water does, not that we know this, will give us a +1 caster level for abjuration spells and a +1 DC to any with a +1 bonus to saving throw DC. Allows you to cast one spell of the abjuration school at +1 caster level and +1 to saving DC. Again, terrible is abjuration, but a cool little effect. I think it would have been cool, though, had the effect been, if you'd splashed the creature, it would have had to make a save or disappear. That would have been something cool I might add. In which case, I might have allowed the people to detect that this was an abjuration aura before I triggered this encounter. Something you could do as the GM if you read ahead a little bit. So, where are we going now? I see a room off to the side to the right here that looks a little bit more impressive than to the one to the left. Which one? Oh, crap, I got rid of my snip. Okay, hold on, let me get my snipping tool back. Grab this room. What time is it? Only 11:30. Perfect. I've got plenty of time left to go. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Skip that. Okay, going up to the main throne area. The ceiling rises high to 40 feet above. 3 flights of stairs, short steps, and then ones on the side. Elevate 5 feet above the floor. The rear of the platform is a 15-foot tall statue of Nesthis, half white, half black. Rising on a octagonal dais, presumably where the worship was taking place. Statue has remarkable architecture. It's well sculpted. Appears to have been fabricated from 2 different types of stone fused together. Oh boy, this is a representation of Nethys. Blah, 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 hiding in the back before he strode out. Oh, the creature, or you were entitled to perception checks when you first entered the room to see if that would happen. Get some slightly different tactics. Oh well. We're not going to worry too much about exactly what happened, so we're going to move to this next room. An immense tiled pool, empty and no more than 2 foot in depth, lies in this vaulted ceiling. Celestial, with a vaulted ceiling covered in images of celestial beings. 4 columns stand at the pool to the northeast, represent one of the 4 primal elements. A ring of hieroglyphs encircle the base of each pillar. Take a look around. The knowledge religion check we are likely to make. We'll take 10 on that. We identify the pool's water based on the symbology. That represent life, rather a melange of all of the creative energy. Now a knowledge history check that we are not guaranteed to make. Actually, Cypress, what is your knowledge checks? Never mind, he can identify quite easily. A knowledge history check represents the large shallow pools were not uncommon in ancient Assyrian architecture, particularly on temple grounds, though it is unusual to have one indoors. Okay, neat. I guess we go southward, and we have this first doorway here, off to the right. A small shrine occupies a raised dais in the north of this room. 2 waist-high fonts stand on either side of the altar. A small wood cabinet is bolted to the eastern wall. 2 small rows of stone benches stand south of the dais. A fetid odor permeates the room. There are 2 huekuvas in this room. Occupy the chapel. In life, they Okay. So we go Pathfinder, Aowen, fake boss. This is a monster. These are heretical clerics. They have claws, magic or silver. They have disease. Oh god, they have disease. Oh, it's filthy. I don't care. It's cloaked in an illusion to make it look like a living creature, functioning as disguised self. All undead creature receive a +2 bonus to overcome or resist channel energy. I will say, this is probably going to supersede the uh what's his name? Agamu has an ability to bypass channel resistance. This is not channel resistance. This is an ability that is beyond that. So, they occupy this channel. They, in life, they look like priests. But with limited intelligence, they are cunning. They out outside, they feign life, appearing as living humans. They speak simple phrases. Look what's happened here. Help us. Speak ancient Osiriani, and they have old-style accents. They trained in... Nope, they're not trained in bluff in any way. We probably recognize them for the weirdness that they are. They'd attack, we'd fight them back, and we'd probably kill them easily. I'm not too worried about this. Filth fever, again, disease comes on tomorrow. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Okay, continuing downward into this next room. We have this area D5. An area beyond this large space contains a stone table, 2 benches, 2 wooden huts. Visible just beyond a partition lead to the area with a kitchen with tables, cabinets, and a stove in the corner. Around the corner south stands a stone enclosure with a rounded top and a hatch in front. One thing I forgot to do, in the previous room we were at, a knowledge religion check allows us to identify the bas relief of Nethys rising out of an artistic representation of the maelstrom. The altar has been defaced. The impact has lost its shock value long ago. Silver chalice, silver ritual knife, and a tithing box are scattered across the floor, slightly damaged. Nothing else of value. Oh, no, yeah, they have the broken condition, but with a little bit of repair, they will have value back again. The kitchen, however, doesn't seem to have much of anything to it. So we'll continue along the way, going to here. A large clockwise rotation, it seems like. That is area D6. A series of cubicles encircle an open central space here, each separated from a common area by hanging curtains from a rod over a doorway. There are some bad guys here. Zombies. Oh, whatever. Anything special about them? Not particularly. So what I might do, zombies are intelligent, so they'd probably just be milling about. If I was a little bit more intelligent or I was controlling zombies in some way, I would position them, I put one zombie in each, maybe 3 different rooms. Be one here, one there, and one there. So the party would position themselves in front of one of these doorways, and then once they open it, all the other zombies would come crashing out, presumably with easy access to the back line. Just one way to do things if you have a little bit more intelligence. Maybe a necromancer was controlling them, or a something, or just to make the encounter a bit more interesting. But no, they'd probably just be milling about in this either the same room or this large empty open area. Smash down a few zombies and take a look around. Curtains hanging with the rod over the doorway. Curtain bed frames, footlockers are all dusty. Bedding, however, has rotted away. Nest, of course. The central area is a privy. It has some magic about. It seems to be a form of universal magic, would be my guess. Best guess, probably both preservative and a cleaning magic. So maybe like a at-will prestidigitation on it. However, it's built into the structure itself, so there is no taking these toilets with you. Because a self-cleaning toilet is, in fact, a magical item that has some value to it. Okay. Continuing northward. I assume these are more chambers we need to worry about. Indeed, they are. A few extras up here. Sparse furnishings contain a bed frame bolted to the floor in the southwest corner of the lacquered end table. Wooden desk is partially collapsed against the wall. Doors exit the room to the north, south, and east. The doors are locked, however, we are relatively trivially able to unlock them. Only the High Priest, all others are forbidden. Well, I am not forbidden, so I go inside the door. Okay, nothing of value, so let's go ahead and take a look around. Presumably going to the area here. Area D8. Oh, that's the High Priest quarters. The Area 7 was back here. Area 7 was a hallway connected to a shallow, empty pool to the west, 2 curtained cubicles beyond, wood bench bolted to the floor, a stone alcove, a small set, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Slightly bigger, less crowded. That has many corpses. One is a pile of bones, unceremoniously out of the way. The other is rotting. Her old broken scimitar lies nearby. The bones are scorched and still warm to the touch. The corpse suffered a number of recent injuries. Apparently a skeleton and a zombie that have been recently fought and destroyed. So presumably the scorching hand came through this way. Okay, then we make it in here, and then we need to head over to the area here. We need to find something. Rows of stone shelves fill this crowded room. Most of the books and scrolls once stored here are discarded over time, but a few volumes engraved in more durable materials endure. Numerous tube scrolls litter the floor, the room amidst dusty remains and ruined paper and papyrus. A solitary door is set to the western wall. Taking a look around, a praise check or a even lower perception check, we find a unrolled papyrus scroll on the floor. Describes an ancient Syriani. Oh! It describes the concept of an akat. So it'll describe about akats and how keystones are used to bind it to the building and pacify it. So presumably, if you were still fighting the akat, now would be a good time for the and you didn't kill it, which we may or may not have. Again, trivial encounter. I'm not too worried about it. You have the option to find the key. There's a keystone that it is bound to, and if we find it, presumably somewhere in this temple, since it is still here, we can pacify it. Well, further mentions the keystone were built into the foundation of the structure, often concealed by secret doors. Okay. Look for tracks in this room. They find tracks with successful, revealing as many 4 people passed through here. Presumably, they took the path from the north area, west through the library, and continuing onward. However, we do easily notice a secret panel. The panel is not trapped, but requires a disabled device to open. Loss of time, however, is a trap we are unaware of. They quickly read through. Not a trap, but a bad guy we are unaware of. Specifically, a Guardian Scroll. Is a tiny construct, has DR magic, is immune to bludgeoning damage. We're definitely going to have to use our magical slashing sword. It is vulnerable to fire, blah. It has slice with grab and bleed. It also has constrict and strangle. However, would attack the nearest thing. Oh, no, it does have limited intelligence. It has intelligence of 4. So it probably knows enough that if someone starts casting magic, go for them. Beyond that, eh. So, I'll go ahead and quickly look up at what a Guardian Scroll does. We can all look at it together. I just wanted to see if there was any spoilers. So, susceptible to mind-affecting effects and vulnerable to fire. Weaknesses is another question you could ask when making your monster lore checks. Feathering Wrap, when it grapples a creature, it covers their mouth completely. They have to hold their breath. You can hold your breath for a long time. Don't worry too much about it unless it's going to be fights lasting longer than a minute. Specifically, you can do for a minute plus your con score in rounds. So 10 rounds plus your con score, so usually 20 or so rounds. Every round you exert yourself by doing something, it costs 2 rounds of breath. So effectively 10 rounds of combat, and then you start suffocating. I think, off the top of my head, I think that's how it works. It could be 2 minutes plus con, it could be 1 minute plus con. Regardless, you should never run into these issues unless it is a long-term problem. You can't cast magical components, though. It is an intelligent construct, as I said, so it can do things. Effectively, it's going to grab something, grab it, constrict it, bleed it, and then it's going to die. Again, trivial encounter, we'll skip past it, but a cool little defensive thing. And for someone that is interested in crafting constructs, they can draw inspiration from this, specifically because it has intelligence. Additionally, you can give it higher intelligence and charisma if you make it stronger, also giving it access to spell-like abilities. They're more akin to intelligent magical items than a natural creature. So, something cool. Just cool little creature. Fun lore. However, surviving documents, if you gather everything that survived, which would take at least a day, there's definitely some valuables here. In addition to the historical documents, a scroll to detect secret doors, a scroll of remove paralysis that have been missed by whoever came before. Can be easily found. Once Guardian Scroll is defeated, find a tablet of languages lost, see page 61, and 3 scroll tubes containing a scroll of aligned weapon, a scroll of halt undead, a scroll of knock, and most importantly, a wand of lesser restoration with 10 charges. Hallelujah, it's a miracle. Along with these items is a second stone tablet written in blah blah blah. So, wands. How do wands work? I've talked about it before. They come with 50 charges. You have to buy them at full charge. Otherwise, it'd be way powerful. Either it is on your spell list or a successful use magic device check of a DC 20, it automatically activates. If you fail to activate it with UMD, it doesn't consume charge. However, if you've not won the check, you may not use that wand for 24 hours. You specifically may not cast that wand for 24 hours. Magic just stops working for you. So, give it to a Gamu, and he can cast a lesser restoration. Still takes 3 rounds, but makes it nice and easy. Along with these is a second stone tablet written in hieroglyphs. If reader deciphered is revealed, blah blah blah. It is a handout. I'll simply read it to you so you have access to it because I don't want to lose my snip. By royal decree of Pharaoh Deseret II, the high priest of our blessed temple shall take the relic to our new city where the asp and crook join and ensure it is never discovered. Treat it with reverence, but conceal it with your most trusted secrets and valuable treasures. Do not attempt its destruction. Do not be tempted by its power. The scandal will remain and forgotten until this obscenity can be undone. Okay, looking through with a knowledge and ability check that we can fail. Go take a look at Atis, I believe, is our best knowledge and ability check. We are entirely capable of failing this check. So, guidance. We may... Oh, this is a human. So, yes, we can't fail this. Pharaoh Deseret II was a pharaoh of Assyria sometime around minus 1600 AR, over 6,000 years ago. And we can identify the city mentioned in the tablet as Wati. We also know that Deseret II founded the city, which detects magic. In the top upper corner of the tablet, we also see an invisible symbol becoming visible. An eye bisected by a vertical line. With a knowledge religion check, again, we can take 10 to succeed on. We can identify that as used by the Osiriani priest of Nethys to invoke a god's blessing or denote important documents. No references among the surviving tablet can be found. However, this one does have some value to it, considering it was maybe not pinned by Deseret himself, but at the very least announced by him himself. Okay, continuing now. Through this hallway, we open the door, look at the hallway, and go, that's gotta be a trap. There's no reason otherwise for this temple to exist. Take a look around, trivially find the trap, trivially disable the trap. Seems to be a wall ice trap. Neat. Okay, continuing forward. To area D11. The octagonal chamber is an empty safe where a large metal chest against the eastern wall. A set of hieroglyphs are inscribed on the wall above it. Stone doors are set at both the north and southern walls. Uh, blah. Uh, the righteous and the holy need no staff, rod, or ring. Place your faith in the good magister and walk without fear. With a knowledge religion check of a trivial DC, we can identify the good magister refers to the high priest. Refers to that person's control of magic, not his righteousness. Looking around for traps, we find a single set of bloody prints going south. Successful DC survival check. With a higher survival check, which we again will make, we will find tracks heading north, multiple through this area. And down we go. Down we go. To where? I assume down there. Go ahead and group up the party. In case we end up rolling some other combats later down the line. Back at it. So, going down into the chambers. The octagonal chamber is empty save for a large metal chest in the eastern wall. Oh, we read that. A stone bench sits on the eastern wall. The octagonal chamber, black tiles on the floor, ceiling, and walls. A short passage to the south leads to a gate of bronze bars. Take a look at around. There's no dust on the floor here. A survival check, which we, again, will likely succeed on, detects faint bloody footprints between the gate and the stairs. The south is closed and locked. And once we kick it open, it automatically unlocks, presumably meaning that we'd be starting the fight with Cypress in the front. He's the one that requires, because the door automatically swings open. As it once open, the gate automatically swings closed and relocks on the following round. While we hold the door open. With a successful DC 25 disable device check, we can open it permanently. However, okay. There is a bad thing in here, specifically a Graven Guardian. Specifically, this is a Graven Guardian of Nethys. What's special about them? They are massive beat sticks. Let's go ahead and do Graven Guardian. So, Graven Guardian has haste once per day, self only, which is only going to last 5 rounds, not the end of the world. Faithbound, it cannot attack any creatures who openly display or wear holy symbols dedicated to the deity of which the Guardian is dedicated, unless the creature attacks the Graven Guardian first. Okay, neat. Its deity's favorite weapon is considered a +1 weapon and has the keen fetchable feature if it is a melee weapon, even if it's a bludgeoning weapon. The thrown weapon it gains returning. They also have fast healing 2, some DR adamantine, and SR. If you ever wanted to actually throw magic at this thing. So, it's a massive beat stick. I think that the trap is, you open the door, you go, oh, look, we continue inward, and this door is going to then close. However, because we either noticed it, if you're a nice GM, or we don't immediately rush into the room because it looks like a statue and it doesn't immediately start moving. To be the worst possible way, as soon as this door opens, this guy starts moving and casts haste on himself. As a result, that's going to trigger combat. Because that triggers combat, melee people are likely to run into the room and ranged people are likely to stay back. Then this door closes, and it turns into a melee and range, so in this case it'd be Shari and Big Green versus the creature and nothing else. She'd get her crap rocked in. I mean, it wouldn't be even close. Okay, maybe it would be close with some high rolls, but it'd be a rough it's going to be a rough encounter. But eventually we're going to destroy it. We likely could even identify that this thing, if we wear a holy symbol of Nethys, wouldn't attack us. But Agamu is not. He would like to avoid combat as much as possible. However, none of us yet have a bag of holy symbols. That is one thing, especially if you're not playing a necessarily good aligned character, walking around with a bag of holy and unholy symbols, even just like wooden ones, they cost you copper pieces or no value at all. So just having a bag of them where you can change them out as necessary can be quite helpful. Agamu, though, has his own deity. His deity might not take offense to doing that, but he is a noble man. He doesn't need to do this sort of nonsense. Now, left or right? Which way do we want to go? We're going to go... We're going to go this way first. Though it is not necessarily in the best numerical order, it is, at the very least, makes sense in my mind. Kind of swirl around here and get up everything. Okay, first up, area D16. So let's scroll a little bit. Where are we? D16. 2 columns carved to resemble men and their arms crossed over their chest as we kick open this door. Holding a kopesh in one hand and an ankh in the other, support the ceiling of this long chamber. Deep alcoves on the wall form burial chambers, some of which are sealed with stone doors. Other sepulchres just have sarcophagi tucked away. A few appear to be empty. To the north and south, wide passageways exit the room through the east wall, each of which leads to a stone double door. Have things inside. There is something going to be inside. Okay, looking around, we will eventually find in this little alcove here, probably as we're like halfway through the room, a creature begins to stir. This is a corpse coffer. Unfortunately, this is from a third-party source, so it's not going to be on Archives of Nethys, but we do have D20 PFSRD. Again, it is a death grip. It will grasp the user's throat. Of course, they don't not speak or cast spells with verbal components, but it doesn't say they begin to suffocate. Presumably, it is holding tight, but not death-defyingly tight. Any round in which a corpse creature is struck for 6 or more hit points, whether bypassing the damage or not, the creature slumps to the ground, seeming destroyed. It also has a fear effect. When viewing the creature rise after using its shooting death ability, save or be panicked. Luckily, it's a rather trivial DC. Magic or bludgeoning. So effectively, every time this thing takes damage, because bypassing its... You do at least enough damage to bypass its DR, it's going to fall down, pretend to be dead, but it only has 16 hit points, so it's going to die in like 1 or 2 wallops anyway. Like, trivial, but a fun little encounter. Maybe giving this... make this thing more interesting, maybe give it a... No, because it just needs more hit points. I guess for a CR3 creature with DR, magic, and bludgeoning, it could be a little bit difficult. But 1 or 2 good wallops and this thing is going to die. Fun little encounter, regardless. Looking around the room, however, seems to be a catacomb of some sort for important people. The room is maybe not well preserved, but it is remarkably nice. Osirianologists might find this tomb rather strange. A knowledge religion check, which we can easily make. Examination of surviving text and library reveals that the priests of the sanctum of this place were well versed in matters of their faith and believed that mortal trinkets were not required for the soul to join Nethys in the afterlife. So these places are quite sparse. 6 sepulchres, all containing sarcophagi. 3, however, have been sealed with stone doors. They can be smashed open. There's also a secret area back here, behind the false door. Looking through all of this nonsense, The high priest, after we open up their graves, gave away don't seem to have much wealth of any on them. Each one contains a gold funerary mask worth a little bit of money, and small canopic jars, personal items, and wooden holy symbols of no value. However, the secret area we are found over yonder, hidden behind the dead thing, contains a small unlocked chest hiding an apprentice cheating gloves, potion of bull strength, two potions to cure mod, along with some other stuff. So, apprentice's cheating gloves. Apparently, I've looked these up before. Allows the wearer to cast Prestidigitation and Mage Hand at will. I mean, someone can put them on now, but for the most part, unimportant. So, heading down further, we will go to, I assume this is area D17. Indeed it is, D17. Kicking open that door, a stone altar flanked by two bronze urns sits in the north wall of this chamber. To the south, 3 rows of stone pews face the altar. The lacquered wooden cabinet is bolted in the western wall at the head level. The long stone table runs parallel to the east wall. The stone double doors run to the east and west. Uh, uh, okay, perfect. There is a skeletal champion here. I will go ahead and give you all a picture of him, because he is relatively impressive looking. Look at that. So fancy. Has some chain armor and whatnot. Go ahead and scroll back up and grab my picture again of the we are currently in. At some point, we would have likely rested, maybe before we descended the staircase going down, maybe earlier. Regardless, we'll definitely have slept at some point to get our spells back. Because we did a great number of it. We did a fair number of encounters. So, looking through. Focuses on attack at one opponent at a time using power attack, channel smite, and destructive smite in order to ensure maximum damage, trying to render enemies unconscious, after which he moves to a different target. Uses his Hand of the Acolyte ability to attack target at range. If reduced to 10 or fewer hit points, he withdraws himself to heal, after which he fights until destroyed. Do you have anything special about you beyond just a big stack of hit points? 40 hit points, so no, a couple of decent smacks and you will fall over dead. Okay. Well, he is not particularly special. He does come with a mithril shirt, however, which is quite nice. Also, a Watchful Guardian, which functions as a +1 spear. Also, keys to the temple, which lead to all the rest of the rooms, so we don't have to worry about unlocking any locks going forward. The lacquered cabinet on the wall holds a simple religious tool containing a golden chalice. Assuming, of course, this man survives the encounter, is either taken. Undead artist at 0 hit points, so you can't you can't deal with him like so. But if the party is able to somehow, if so, he does take prisoners. So if the party is taken prisoner and they have to retreat, or if the somehow you tie him up, you grapple him, you hog tie him, and do something like that, for some reason, considering this man will talk, likely talking about interlopers will be punished, debt to those who will defile Nethys' sacred tomb. Maybe you can get some conversation out of him, but in this case, this party, there's no way we would ever attack this man. But as a GM, after we've completely destroyed him, this guy is actually a former still is a cleric of Nethys, a cleric of Nethys fighter technically. But because Nethys is a true neutral deity of magic, he doesn't have poor views on necromancy, so he's perfectly willing to raise people as undead. So this guy was raised to undeath by the high priest back in the day. As a result, he knows a little bit about what came before, and uses the plot element as an alternative to killing the entire party. He has no knowledge about blah blah blah, nor does he have any knowledge about the recent people who came in. So really, all he could tell you is knowledge about what this place was like back in the day, which is not much. So coming out here and taking a look around, we would notice that there is a secret door up here. So we'd probably come up here and go to the secret door. Luckily, it leads us back into the area we haven't been, back to D14. Well, there we go, D14. Opening the secret door, the area's edge of the door slightly sticks out from the wall and can be spotted with a trivial perception check. A stone effigy of a humanoid figure stands at the north end of this room, arms spread in a gesture of supplication, or commanding an object to rise in the air. Figure's face is devoid of detail, with only vague contours where eyes and nose should be. Extensive series of hieroglyphs cover the western wall, opposite a stone bench that stands on the wall at the eastern side. Reading through this... Is there a creature in here? Yes, there is. Okay. It hides until someone comes close to the effigy, but it is a creature called a Necrophydius. Go ahead and do a quick Google search on that. Which looks like a large skeletal snake thing. Technically a construct. So, Archives of Nethys, because this is a first-party creature. It is a medium construct, though it's 10 foot long. Bludgeoning. It does have paralysis. Any living creature bit must be force save paralyzed for 1d4 rounds. It sways back and forth. All creatures within 30 feet must make a will save or be dazed for 2d4 rounds. So technically, assuming everybody failed their will save, which is unlikely, but maybe half the maybe a little bit greater than half the party. Maybe 60% of the party should make that save at this level. Again, we're not going to roll this encounter just because I don't want to, but it seems as if we could definitely do it. Make a will save and just do 36 damage. Assuming either of the meat sacks up front, Big Green or Shari, made their saves, it would be relatively trivial to deal with this creature. Just deal some hit point damage. So we're not going to deal with that one. Looking around the room, there's a poetic set of ancient hieroglyphs on the western wall, which we can read through. Woe to you who plunder the reliquary of the thrice-divided soul. Turn away, lest the harsh judgment of the Forgotten One fall upon you and your descendants for thousands of generations. Turn away, for his Ka cannot be appeased, and it shall call forth the legions of the dead and the doomed. Turn away. May the all-seeing eye and the Lady of the Graves take pity on you. If not, the Forgotten Pharaoh shall consume you, body and soul. Okay, knowledge relationship, which we can't fail, will identify Ka as one of the components of ancient Osiriani concept of the soul, divided into 5 parts. The Ka contains a person's vital spark, which distinguishes the living from the dead. A perception check can find droplets of blood on the floor near the door, marked by soiled footprints. Or soiled footprints, presumably boots of some kind. Blood is tacky, hinting at its recent origin. With a perception check, you can affect faint traces of a writing or inscription on a secret door. Seems to be a discarded glyph of warding. A glyph of warding, which you can, again, trivial. It's basically a big explosion when you look at it. You know the explosive runes thing? It's similar to that, except instead of like fire damage, it's just a big force. Studying the humanoid effigy with a trivial check, it seems that something had been placed over the figure's head, or upon its face. A fine layer of dust coating every part, except for some sort of maybe mask or headdress? with our Detect Magic, which we're obviously going to cast, because you should cast that in every room once you've killed everything that moves, identifies an aura of something. A dim magical aura centered on the effigy. So whatever that mask was had some sort of magical aura. However, beyond that, we don't know much. Because the person who has Knowledge Arcana, it does not have Detect Magic. Actually, there's an at-will magic item of Detect Magic, I think cost 15, about 1,000 gold pieces. So maybe we can have him casting Detect Magic at will as a slotted item. There's something it's like 1,000 or 1,500 gold pieces to get that. So we'll assume that our guy can do that now. But can he succeed at his Knowledge Arcana check? If we go to Cyprus and have you do Knowledge Arcana, taking Tim with guidance is not enough. So he will just straight up fail. Because you can't try again in this case. In which case, we move on. Okay, one thing I do want to check is going down to... Okay, these are gates. These are not, actually, like, bars. So we'll continue onward to this chamber, whatever it happens to be. Area D15. So, a quick idea of what happened. Someone, or something, obviously opened the door, got hit by a glyph of warding, and started bleeding. They presumably grabbed whatever that was on the mask, because it had been recently disturbed, and left, because we saw a single set of footprints leading back out. However, footprints are coming in as well. So, either the person was flying on his way in, and only 4 footprints we see, or maybe the Scorched Hand is all dead, except for one person who now has beat a retreat. Unknown at this point. But regardless, something has been stolen here of some magical value, considering it was in a secret room and we had the, all the iconography. Fall upon you, curse your descendants for thousands of generations, turn away, lest the all-seeing eye and the Lady of the Graves take pity on you. And the Forgotten Pharaoh consume you body and soul. So considering that it was talking about Ka separating the living from the dead, maybe it has some sort of significance with that. Undead, maybe. Life and death, necromancy. The Lady of the Graves being mentioned leads credence to that idea. Beyond that, it being an important magical artifact that the Pharaoh decided to hide away, and that it might have something to do with death, we don't know. Given the name of the whole thing, the Mummy's Mask, metagaming a little bit. I doubt it. This is the mask we're looking for, considering that it's, book 1. But you never know. Kicking open this door now. A large symbol summoning circle is inlaid on the floor near the center of this octagonal chamber. Northeast corner of the room, a set of narrow steps lead up to a raised dais. Concave stone bench, almost a throne, perched at the top of the dais, flanked by 2 stone braziers. 4 columns carved in the form of fantastic creatures support the vaulted ceiling. Quickly scroll down to the bottom. They are carotid columns. I hate carotid columns. Okay, carotid columns. Archives of Nethys here. 7 feet tall, but they're still medium. And weighing a ridiculous amount. Marble female warrior, or male warrior in these cases. So, what do they do? First off, they're immune to magic, which means no magic works against them. They also have this Shattered Weapons feature. Whenever a character strikes magic, the weapon takes 3 to 6 points of damage. Apply the weapon's hardness. Weapons that take any amount of damage excess their hardness gain the broken condition. That's why these creatures suck. They're going to be attacking them with their backup weapons. They have DR that can be not bypassed by anything. So we'd probably be throwing bombs at these things. There's 2 of them. Again, rather trivial. They don't do much damage. So with enough bombs, these things would be destroyed. Neat. They can look like a statue, which is what they're going to do. So, assuming your party can't identify them after they attack the first time, it doesn't even look like, it doesn't say they have to bypass their DR or anything. Usually, if they don't bypass DR, it doesn't. Oh, if they take damage, any amount of damage in excess of the hardest, they're automatically gain the broken condition quality. Yeah, again, using the backup weapons, you'll likely break the weapons eventually, but then you can spend some time casting the mending cantrip, not the end of the world. However, if your weapon is magical, mending's not going to cut it. Just rude, especially considering there are two of them. This is a CR5 encounter. It's a rough one, but again, they can't hurt you relatively easy. You can't attack them with natural weapons because the weapon's going to take damage, which means you take damage. The only one who can reasonably do damage is going to be Cypress, because these guys are immune to magic. So, neat. Okay, we may rest after that combat, we may not. Regardless, we would continue down into this room to the south. And kick her open. In which case, I'm going to actually move the party over because we are likely to actually roll this encounter out. All things considered. Okay, let me make sure. This is area D19. Yes, indeed it is. 2 rows of columns support the vaulted chamber in this room. Inscribed hieroglyphs cover most of the wall, but the southern room is rough and unfinished. Free passage east closed with the bottom gate exits the room to the north, east, and west. Currently, there are 4 people inside. And we recognize them. Okay. They have heard combat has been going on, so they will have prepared themselves in some way. Long-term buffs. But we're going to try and take these people alive as best we can and do what we will. So, we approach it from the north. They like to come under fire while they attempt to open the locked gate, eventually, blah, blah, blah. So, let's go ahead and get our the bad party here. They are on page 52, which is a couple pages away. We are almost at the end of the book, by the way. So, we have got 4 individuals. Let's go ahead and find ourselves heroes. First off, we have got a sorcerer / wizard. We'll use you. Presumably these guys were in position expecting us to come from that way, but instead we came from this northern way. So, they'll position themselves as appropriate to deal with an enemy coming from that direction. This guy has 11 hit points and a 16 armor class. Next up, we have I can also go ahead and show you guys pictures of these guys. We got Mr. Caster here. Relatively unimpressive. Has a scorpion. That's cool. We have another lady. Looks like a half-elf of some sort. Kopesh, lightly armored. Presumably could have used a little bit more wrapping up. Seems to be, yes, indeed a half-elf. Mixed heritage. She is as we as the players will know, rogue fighter. We'll give her this picture. Presumably standing off to the side to get ready to ambush. She has 16 AC and 25 hit points. Next up will be a man who is a cleric of Nethys. Plenty of cleric tokens. Use this one for him. What are your tactics? Presumably staying somewhat close to the front, but not all the way in the front. You have 15 AC and 20 hit points. and look like... so. And finally, the last lady, who we have been given a full description of, and you've seen the face of before. They just go ahead and... if you're gonna... don't read the text, as per usual. Looks like that. Is a wizard. Again, not that we know. And has 18 armor class and 28 hit points. Okay. Got our heroes and villains out of the way. Start with this combat start. First off. Ah! Finally found you! What the hell are you doing here, and why were you trying to interfere with us getting to this location? Well, you all are not followers of Nethys. We are the only ones who have the right to come to, as their leader speaking, the right to come to this place. Why would anybody else deserve the right to go to these ancient locations dedicated to our god? It seems only fair that we should, but Pharasmas didn't see it that way. So, how about this? If you leave now, we'll let you live. Speak nothing of this place. Our party will speak up. Probably Agamu. No, I think not. Considering what you've done, not only in breaking the law, but also defiling this tomb and stealing the treasures within, I think it does make sense if we report or bring you to the authorities and let them sort it out. However, if you come quietly and hand over anything you've gained in your possession, we will not cause any harm to you. With combat there always comes risk, and we prefer not to harm people when possible. Let's go ahead and move everybody slightly forward so we can have a conversation without hiding around a corner. No. I think we'll come to blows and see who the gods think deserve this place the most. So again, it is almost assuredly this is going to lead to a fight. However, there is a possibility that certain things could happen. How it involves spending money, and there's no way I'm spending money, especially for people who broke the law. 3, 4 for the party. Gamu is a 9. Atis unfortunately rolled really low, so she's at a 10. Cypress, 16. Is 14. Now their party, let's hope they don't roll spectacularly. Okay, they rolled, in fact, the opposite of spectacularly. Okay. First up is the caster. You rolled a 8 plus, so 14, but you're 14.01. You're higher than our 14. Next up is the roguish lady. She's plus 3 with her 3, leading to a 6. And the other people got 2. You're with a plus 4, presumably because you have improved initiative, getting a 6 and a 1 because you're higher than the other lady. And lastly, you're plus 2 for a 4. Okay, first up is Cypress. Taking a quick knowledge check on the entirety of their party. Human, half-elf, human. Okay, not much knowledge to be gained there. Taking a look around, we do see people in the back that seem to be spellcasters. We'll definitely go for them first. We will come around the corner here and throw a bomb at the one that's in the front, presumably their leader. And let's go ahead and do that. As always, Geek the Mage. 14 touch will almost assuredly touch. Go back and forth a little bit. 14 flat-footed touch, yes, easily. For 11 points of damage. And the other guy next to him will need a save to avoid taking damage. That'll be a 9 plus your bonus of nothing. Or not nothing, but very little. Means you will also take 7 points of damage. Ow! Okay, we're going to cast a spell. The range on the spell is close. So I need to be within, what is yours, 30 feet? Okay, I am within 30 feet. So, I'm going to cast the spell Grease. So this area is now going to be greasy. I will need everybody inside it to make a reflex save. DC of... This is from a scroll. It's from a wand. Okay, so it's a DC 11. Atis is going to fail. She is going to fall over. Agamu is going to save. And Big Green, normally, Big Green will be making it for both him and his compatriot. Will make a save as well. Perfect. Okay, makes things nice and easy. I'll also go ahead and step behind cover a little bit, because that was rough. Shari! Gonna come here, right into the center of the room, and get nice and close within, or go ahead and give this lady a wallop. You're a wizard. I'm going to go ahead and power attack you. I'm not expecting your armor class to be all that intense. You have 18, not that we know that. We're going to go ahead and hit you with a Bardiche. 15 points of damage. Okay. Now then, you're a wizard. I do not expect to be able to hit you with Magic Missile. You are on your last legs. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up. That's nice and easy. What are the odds that I can hit you with a Magic Missile? Probably nothing. I'm gonna guess not. You're a caster of some repute. I see your spell book. We've conversed before. I know you're a wizard. So Magic Missile's not going to work. However, it might work on one of these two nerds over yonder. I could also alternatively get closer. I could alternatively throw a color spray. No, I can't do that. So yeah, we're gonna throw a Magic Missile at this guy here, because I don't expect Magic Missile to work on others. So we're gonna do 2d4 and just do 5 points of damage. And finally, Agamu. Doesn't have a whole lot to do, so he is going to go ahead and bless the party and step out of the grease. Oh, I forgot to have Big Green attack. Big Green is going to finish his movement here. And then attack this lady. And finish him off. In which case, I may have actually you come over here. So 1, 2, 4. And I'm going to go ahead and stabilize you. Hope the spell works. In this case, it will. And the fight will continue. So, next up, Cleric. Well, now, has Bull Strength and Shield of Faith on you. That's fine. I mean, this fight has gone downhill real quickly. All things considered. Winning initiative will certainly do that for you. But I'm not at the point where I think surrender is the best option. I don't think. Okay. Yep, we will go ahead and continue our fight. So, you are going to cast Spiritual Weapon. Let's get ourselves a spiritual weapon. We'll go ahead and use this beetle. Who am I going to cast on? Who's a problem in that round? Everyone was a problem, but in this case, I think I'm going to go after. Actually, going to step away because I know you guys have reach weapons to cast this. Probably Shari is the biggest problem. They also have the biggest hit point total and probably a biggest armor class. So instead, I'm going to go for Cyrus, who I have reasons for it, but I, as the GM, know that this cleric and this sorcerer, I think he's a sorcerer, this evoker, are in a relationship of some sort, which as a result means that they care about each other. And since Cyrus was the one who nearly put him in the ground, I'm going to attack Cyrus, not knowing that he has a equal armor class to Shari. Usually your frontline have a higher armor class. So we're going to go ahead and GM roll with a horrific miss. Well, that was unfortunate. Okay, next up, you. What do your tactics say? Those are Kopesh and Kukri simultaneously, focusing on one opponent at a time. If she can trip them, she does so, following up with an additional strike with her Kukri. Okay. I have acrobatics. I do. I'm going to attempt to acrobatics plus Shari and Big Green. That will succeed. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're not going to attack any of these nerds. Agamu's the guy in charge. Shari's the one who's a problem. I can't trip Shari, because she's riding Big Green, and four-legged creatures are very difficult to trip. So I'm probably just going to attempt to go after a Cypress. Trip Cypress, because he has range attacks, and people with range attacks do not want to be on the ground next to someone in melee. So we'll trip him and attempt to... we can't stab him because we only get one attack because we move, so we'll just attempt to trip him. Cypress is CMD. It's a listed stat in your defense, but it's 10 plus your bab... Oh, it's atrocious. So he's fallen prone. And you do not have greater trip because, of course, you don't. So next up is the stable creatures. So, Cypress, you're prone on the ground. I'm going to stand up. Do I stand up? Yeah, we're going to stand up. That is going to provoke an attack of opportunity. Is going to, with my Kopesh, is going to hit. 3 points of damage. And then I'm going to take a move action. Hide in this back corner. Actually, can I get there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, just so. Normally, standing up would provoke and moving would provoke. However, you only get one of attack of opportunity per round unless you have combat reflexes, which this lady does not seem to have, or she chose not to take it. Okay, next up, this man is going to cast a spell and drop it on Shari, specifically a flaming sphere. However, it's unfortunately from a scroll, so their reflex saves are going to not have to be too low. So Big Green will save, Shari will take 6 points of damage. 10 points of damage. Ow. All that good. Now Shari's turn to move. We know it doesn't provoke, so we're going to come down here and give... Let's start by attacking the spellcaster. That's probably a smart move. Good old wallop with the Bardiche. Yep, minus 12. And we're going to have Big Green. This guy doesn't seem too healthy, so we're going to have Big Green attack him without power attack. I'm just going to roll it and give him +1 to hit, minus 2 damage. Okay, so he's going to be taking minus 12. And we hope we didn't kill him. Okay. One thing to remember, enemies can only surrender on their turn. So you'll have to wait until it's their turn to surrender, because normally this guy would surrender right now, considering his boyfriend's life is in danger, and he's not looking too healthy either. So, but he's got to wait. And in the meantime, he's going to eat a magic missile. And at that point, he's not going to die from it, so we're just going to mark him X'd. And then Agamu is going to 5-foot step and defensively cast a spell to stabilize one of them, and if he succeeds or fails, doesn't really matter. At this point, the lady is probably just going to surrender because she's alone against 4 people. And she's a bit more of an opportunist compared to the rest of the party, a bit less loyal to the whole cause than everybody else. She might fight a little bit longer, but eventually she will surrender and this fight will be done with. Most importantly, we get a bunch of loot. Anything of value. We get a bunch of scrolls and wands from guy number 1. Anything of value there. A wand of vanish, not really. One of grease, I guess, has some value to it. Beyond that, it doesn't seem like he has much. The lady has a masterwork Kopesh. Gold and +1 leather armor. We can not put that on the dog because the dog is not a person. Next up, the cleric seems to have a scale mail quarterstaff, a bunch of scrolls, a wand of cure light wounds at 26 charges is spectacular. And then the final lady does have a spell book because she's both of them have spells actually. They're both wizards. An alluring golden apple. I don't know what that does. When dropped to a throne, all creatures must make a will save or be paralyzed for whole person as you look at it. Well, she didn't even get a single turn, so it doesn't matter. She favors her wand of scorching ray. She begins. Oh, she was supposed to have mirror image up. Oh well, that was my mistake. Would have made the fight a little less trivial, but eh. He would have probably got a scorching ray or 2 off, and that's about it. Maybe some glitter dust. No intention of showing mercy and fights to the death. She has the alluring golden apple, a bunch of scrolls and wands, anything valuable. I mean, wand of shield, 9 charges is nice. Braces of armor +1 is not atrocious. Plus some other spells in a spell book. Doesn't matter to us. So, we loot them, we don't worry about them, we turn them into the guards later down the line. Actually, maybe we'll talk to each of the members, we'll pull out some smelling salts. Smelling salts is a fantastic item. If someone is unconscious and you it's a reusable item, if you give them some smelling salts, they'll burst to consciousness. However, if they spend anything more than a move action, they'll fall back unconscious after taking a point of damage. So if you capture someone, beat them to like -3, you hit them with smelling salts, and even if they try and cast a spell, or if they try and do anything, they'll immediately fall back unconscious. It's brilliant. We'll talk to them. We'll see why they all were doing this. We'll interrogate them. In reality, the only person that probably has significant value to us beyond just turning them in is maybe the fighter rogue. She's willing to join with us if she's offered a proper share of the loot. We would say, no, that doesn't make sense. How about a little bit of a sign-on fee, and we don't turn you into the guards? And she'll go, okay, sure, maybe. So it's possible to recruit a Dory, which honestly could be a fun party member if you were looking to take leadership later down the line. That could be an interesting option. But beyond that, eh. In this case, I'm not going to use another NPC, but an interesting character nonetheless. So next up, let's go ahead and backtrack a little bit. We have the pool room, is area D... No, 18 possibly. Yes, pool. There we go. A locked bronze gates guards the area. We, of course, identical to the one in various other areas. A large star-shaped fountain chamber with a circular basin occupies the center of this octagonal chamber, surrounded by a ring of stones engraved with hieroglyphs. Roaring blue flames rise from the basin, touch almost the ceiling. The area is separated from the rest of the complex by a middle gate just to the south. Okay, looking through this area. Pool has two auras, moderate illusion and moderate or faint evocation and transmutation. The flames do seem to give off heat, however the heat doesn't seem to cause damage. So as we eventually kind of probably poke a stick into the fire, we'll eventually recognize the fire as an illusion. A relatively decent one, but nonetheless. Eventually, as we will presumably drink from the water, we will identify, probably similar to the area above, considering the illusion is magic probably is from the illusion. It's either evocation or transmutation magic that will be empowered in some way. In this case, it is evocation. +1 to the DC and +1 to the saving throw, which would be good if Atis had any evocation spells. But beyond that, as we look around the room with a perception check DC 25, is that trivial to us? Agamu. Even with guidance, it is not completely trivial to us, okay? In which case, everybody else needs to roll a quick perception check. The green actually is the only one who doesn't need to roll that. Oh, I guess he could drink his draught. No reason not to. He can't make it. Okay. So, presumably, we would be unable to identify the secret chamber in this room. Luckily for us, all it has is the keystone of the creature we presumably killed. Okay. Next up, we have the final whatever hallway this is. So, everybody's going to chug whatever buffs they have as we get ready to crack open, presumably whatever the remaining tomb is. Expecting an encounter, there might not be an encounter. Let's look around. Hieroglyphs cover the walls of this chamber. In the middle of the room, a large, majestic stone sarcophagi rests atop a raised stone platform. Several clay jars sit on the floor nearby. Two lacquered benches stand near the doors in the south. We will, of course, look around the room. We will discover that there is a secret compartment, the DC 20 perception check. We will then fail to identify the glyph of warding that is guarding that crap. As a result, we're going to explode and take a little bit of electricity damage. Again, hieroglyphs on the wall name this person, Jejafet. Revealed that he died in negative 1599 AR. Described as a wise counselor, trusted keeper of secrets, and a good friend of the Pharaoh. A knowledge nobility check, which we will not fail, identifies the Pharaoh of Assyria in negative 1599 as Deseret II, the same Pharaoh who is mentioned on the tablet up above. Inside the sarcophagus, we find so Deseret and Jedhefet are different people. It's a man mummified next to a rat. Clay canoptic jars are elsewhere. They contain preserved internal organs. The hidden button. Pressing the button reveals the sarcophagus slide to the side, and revealing a trap beneath it. And inside, we find some stuff. Symbol onyx funerary mask, a holy symbol of Nethys, most importantly, a pearl of power 1 and a ring of grasping grave. Let's go ahead and look at what that ring does. Ring of grasp grave. Wearer can make a melee touch attack against an undead opponent no more than one size category larger, cutting off that creature from undying energy. Wearer suffers any ill effects that might have occurred from physical contact that touch this way. Successful hit that cannot be healed by... Okay. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's it's nearly nothing. But a cool item nonetheless. Presumably indicating that the man interred here had a problem with the undead. Once you've completed the exploration of the sanctum, we return to Wati in the living half of it, at least. And we will inform the priests of Pharasma what we encountered within. Specifically related to the Scorching Hand, we'll turn them in to have them be arrested. And we will also uncover the theft of the whatever, presumably important artifact interred within here. Such that a previous... We won't give them the specifics of it. They might uncover it once we end up selling our stuff. But we will tell them about how a pharaoh, even an artifact worthy of being interred, hidden within a temple of Nethys. So, surrounded by powerful and important casters. Oops, let's roll in a little bit. Doesn't have any idea what the items are. The Scorched Hand, however, earns a black reputation for violating the rules of exploration, both in Wati and beyond. All of those who we turn at the very least. I guess we again, they have nothing to offer us, so we probably turn all of them in. I'll take a read through all of the NPC gallery, which I was supposed to do last time, I totally forgot. See if there's anything that we might have missed and we might not turn them in for. But I'm assuming we turn them all in, especially their leader, because they tried to have us murdered. And then we don't worry about it. If we're interested in selling any of the items from the Necropolis, there's an upcoming auction in Wati that may be able to fetch the good prices for us. And also, other gear seems to be included in the auction as well. We will, of course, level up to 4th level, which I'll leave to the beginning of next session. We'll do all the bookkeeping at that point. But with that being said, that is where we're going to be stopping for today, finishing all of Book 1. Again, we finished it in 3 sessions, however, we end up skipping maybe a third, maybe a little bit more than a third of the combats. But overall, I'm not overly impressed by this first book. Again, the first book in most adventure paths, not particularly great. You're way too low level to often get involved in the main arc of whatever the adventure path is going to do. So it usually ended up just going around killing goblins, killing zombies or undead or something, just to get yourself involved, or get yourself a few levels, get yourself some gear and whatnot to get involved. Maybe there's a little bit of a tie-in further down the line. But a lot of adventure paths, you will encounter a disconnect between the first book and the rest of them for that reason. For example, this one was just tomb raiding. Maybe this mask is something to do later down the line, or maybe some of the people we've encountered will have something to do later down the line. The adventuring parties, maybe the Pharasms we've encountered are likely to be important. But overall, you shouldn't expect it. It was effectively, we just did 3 dungeon delves. A bit boring. We learned a little bit about the ancient world that could come in handy later, but the difficulty of encounters early on, plus the regular advent of poisons and disease, yes, it makes it so the party is now aware and is going to be ready to encounter them and deal with them later. But there was just too many encounters that would be... You didn't make all your saves, or things didn't go perfectly well. Okay, your adventuring day is done for maybe a day, maybe a week or more. Sorry, shrug. Is irritating. I think this place being the least problematic, mostly because we were level 3, but also the only problem being this guy who has curses. And we just go back to the Rasmus and say, hey, we need you to remove this curse. But hopefully the next books will be a bit more involved within the story. I'm expecting them to. As GM, there was some tie-in here. We'll figure out more about that later down the line. I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Feel free to follow links down below if you want to see some of my content, and I will see you all next time.